Hi, I'm Annalise Polenzani, and this is my presentation for Ed 6350 Cultural Analysis on Judaism. So, I am not Jewish, but I have some experience with it. So, here's what I have experienced so far with it. Last year, our school had a book a day where every day we're supposed to read a book either related to the content or not of our to our students. And during the holiday season, I read this book, The Christmas Mitzvah, to my students. And a mitzvah is a gift or something you do for someone else. And this was a cool book because it was based on the true story of Al Rosen. He lived in Milwaukee, and every year around Christmas time, he would call a radio station and give out his number and ask if anybody needed him to do their job for them, so they could enjoy Christmas because he celebrated Hanukkah and that usually did not line up with the Christmas days. So for 30 years, he would do various jobs like be drive a snowplow, be a bartender for one night, so someone could be with their family. So he's a really cool guy. And then after I read this story with my students, one of my students gave me a set of dreidels. So this is a game that is played during Hanukkah where you spin the wooden dreidel and then everyone has some coins, and based on where the dreidel lands, it will tell you to give a coin, take a coin from someone, put all your coins in the center, or yeah, it'll tell you what to do. And then it ends with someone having all the coins. So that is how you play Dreidel. And my other experience with Judaism is I have nannied for a Jewish family, and I got to know them pretty well. And one time, the mom and I were talking about like, oh, how they got married and to her spouse, and she told me that everyone at their wedding wore a yarmulke or a kippah. So these are the small hats men wear on top of their heads. And if you look in the front of each one, you can see it more on the blue one. It has their wedding names and the wedding date. So I thought that was pretty cool. And they had a bunch of extras, so they said I could have a couple. So I like that I can have that and yeah, show it off. So I attended a Shalom service this past Saturday, the 24th. You could do it in person. I watched the virtual experience and it was about an hour and a half. So if you'd like to watch the whole experience, you can click the link here. It is located in Mount Prospect, about a half hour from Concordia. So the place was called Olive Tree Congregation, and you can't see very well, but in their logo they have it also in Hebrew, and then there's the building to the right. I guess you would call it their synagogue. Before the service started, or to begin the service, a man blew a shofar, which is also called a Jewish horn. So I'm going to play a video of what that is like. I tried to record snippets from the service itself, but when I tried to upload them to this presentation, it didn't work for whatever reason. So I found some clips online so you can still know what it was like. So that is a horn from an animal. I believe it's a goat or maybe a sheep. And yeah, they use that to blow that to call everyone, say like, "Oh, it's time for service. We need to devote our attention to God." Okay. And next we have a picture of, they had a PowerPoint presentation going on. So the congregation or the people attending could go along with the psalms or the prayers. On top, it's in Hebrew, but on the bottom, they have it using the English alphabet. So I thought that was cool and inclusive. In case someone didn't know Hebrew, they could follow along with the English lettering, like they could try to understand the pronunciation. And then to our right, we have this lady was signing throughout the service. So I thought that was really cool. Another piece that made it very inclusive. I don't know if she was signing in American Sign Language or Israeli Sign Language, but regardless, yeah, very cool. This was the pastor that presented. I was surprised that he was called a pastor and not a rabbi. But yeah, this is Pastor Amer, and his topic for his present for the service was all about marriage. And as teachers, we often like to have a hook or an A set to begin a lesson. And his hook, that's what I like to call it, was about Fiddler on the Roof. And if you don't know, Fiddler on the Roof is all about a man who is more doesn't have much money, and he wants to find matches for his daughters. And so that play musical is mostly about marriage, and he compared it. The pastor compared that musical to what God wants for marriages and for Jewish couples, and how it's supposed to bring them closer to God. So that was the service that was called Shabbat. So here is a little bit more explanation on what people do for Shabbat. So that's just the service that people would attend. And then, but Shabbat lasts for about a whole day from Friday night to Saturday night. So this will tell us more about what the people do for Jewish people do for 24 hours.
So maybe you're Jewish and wondering how to get started doing this Shabbat thing. Or maybe you're not Jewish and you want to better appreciate what your friend is up to or why your coworker leaves early on Fridays. Let's look at two things: why people do Shabbat and how. Okay, so why? It's the single most important building block of living a Jewish life, according to pretty much everyone. The Torah explains in chapter 1 that God created the world in 6 days, and on the 7th day ceased from creating. So to mark that and appreciate creation, Jews cease creating things as well. We live life in the realm of space, going places, making things, buying and fixing stuff. We have to focus on the physical world on a day-to-day basis, and sure, we can do it mindfully. But Shabbat is a maneuver into the world of time. Letting go of making and buying and fixing is entering what Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel famously called a palace in time. It's hard to set aside the phone, the email, the cleaning, the errands, but that's the whole point, to set aside the time for something holy. It not only connects you to God, but also to yourself and the whole of the Jewish people. It creates a rhythm to life with the 7th note of rest time. Now, to the how. People talk about Shabbat being a day of not working or a day of rest. Jewish tradition actually defines 39 categories of creating-ish work: planting, building, hoisting stuff around, that you're supposed to refrain from on Shabbat. And traditionally observant Jews extrapolate from that to mean no emails, no errands, no driving, cooking, or using technology. It's more than what's not done. Making Shabbat, or as you might hear it said, keeping Shabbos, means making sacred time. People bring in Shabbat by lighting candles at sundown and go from a dinner with challah and wine and singing to a morning maybe spent at services hearing about the Torah portion, to a big lunch with friends or a picnic in the park. There are naps, strolls around the neighborhood, books, text study, games, lots of low-key pastimes. It ends at nightfall on Saturday with a candle putting out ritual called Havdalah. There are tons of ways to celebrate Shabbat, and if you want to know more specifics about challah, candles, or songs, or how to say some of the blessings, we have plenty of resources for you. Heschel said that things do not lend significance to a moment. It is the moment that lends significance to things. Taking a day to live this way can bring a sense of wholeness, or in Hebrew, shalom. So let's end with a wish for Shabbat Shalom.
So that program that put on, or sorry, the website that put on that video was called Bim Bam. If you'd like to learn more about the Jewish faith, and here is some common foods that are served at a Sabbath or Sabbath dinner. So we have a chicken and brisket here. On the left side, we have matzo ball soup. I've tried that before, and yeah, it's very good. I've tried to make it also, and that the balls were very crumbly when I did it, so it's much harder than I thought. Then on the bottom, we have side dishes. We have some bread and vegetables, and then over to the left, we have challah bread and jellyfish fish. And the challah bread is above, and it's used with eggs, and it's often braided. That's what gives it its distinct look. And then above, we have a parvir, which is a dessert. So that was my presentation on Shalom. There are many more aspects to Judaism. This was just a little bit, and I did my best with pronunciations. I hope I did it justice, and thank you for listening.